Good afternoon and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners work session. It is Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 4 p.m. I'd request everybody please silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner James Dutton to deliver the invocation and Commissioner Rita Johnson to lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in prayer. Our most kind and holy Father in heaven, Father, we come before you today thankful for the opportunity that you've set before us in this second of 3 meetings today to discuss the workings of Spalding County and to help us as its leaders to know what we can do to help make it a better place. Father, please be with us and our families while we're away from them, that we can all learn and grow together and be able to come closer to Thee. Father, be with all those first responders wherever they are, those military personnel, and Father, be with their family. Please unite them all at the appropriate time for them to be back together, whether it's tonight or at the end of a deployment, that they will all safely see each other and find themselves in each other's arms again. Father, please bless us until our time here on this earth is done, that we can come close to you and once again be reunited in thy loving arms at the end of our mortal journey. Father, we ask these blessings humbly in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. This time, item number 4 on agenda items, Parks, Public Grounds, and Public Works dashboard presentation by Director Imberger. TJ, welcome back to us. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a little bit nervous. I was here when Erica did the best presentation ever, so I'm going to try to do as good.
Standard setter.
All right, it's a pleasure to show you our Parks dashboard. Oops, wrong way. And this dashboard only includes information that's directly related to Parks maintenance crews. We have 23 parks in Spalding County, and as you can see, we have a varied of facilities. There's 27 athletic fields, 25 playgrounds, pavilions, pickleball courts, 8.5 miles of walking trail, 6 miles of mountain bike trail, 4 disc golf courses, 3 rec centers, 3 lakes, 3 outdoor basketball courts, 2 stretching areas, 1 skate park, 150 forward center, 1 nature trail, 1 community garden, and then 1 dog park. These are just the main facilities that we have. There is several other facilities. This just gives us a good snapshot of what we maintain. NRPA, average acre of parks per land is 1,000 residents. To the 50 to 99,000 resident category is 9.2 acres per 1,000 residents. We have 68,000 residents. If you multiply that out, we should have, according to NRPA standards, 625 acres. Spalding County has 786 acres. So that is a positive. We are 161 acres that we make available more than the national average to our citizens. System-wide cost analysis process. This is the process that we're using to develop our dashboards. We start with a static park inventory. We factor in the national averages. Then we take the local versus the national in that factor. Whole system maintenance and department cost. Then we move to an individual park amenity inventory. There we go to determine the individual park maintenance and operation costs. Then we take that and do our asset cost tracking, asset maintenance and operation is established, the actual services. I'm getting old. It's getting hard to read stuff. Hold on. I'm going to be better off now.
TJ, you need glasses?
Well, I have glasses in, trust me. Then we do a baseline of the tracking, and that begins at that step there. Then we look at our efficiency adjustments based on the analysis that we did, and then we have our data at the end of that process. Currently, these are the items that we have done, and then these are the items that we're moving towards. Once we move towards those and then we collect all of our data, then what we have is the results of that data. So we take the data from the last page, and these are the results of utilizing those data. We can maintain our efficiency, we can create budgets, have effective maintenance decisions, and then we can use this information for capital decisions as well. On the crew level, so what we just saw was the department as a whole. When we get to individual crews, we start with their crew tasks. We take the data input from what they're doing on a daily basis. We're then factoring in a learning curve, because for some of our staff, collecting the data, analyzing the data, studying the data, and being able to talk about the data, there is items there that we need to teach, and it's part of a training process. Then we take the daily tasks and we can create flowcharts. We're able to then refine the data, and then we have the daily tasks per crew utilized. So we could use that to determine routes and determine their efficiency levels. And then we get to a data analysis. So far, this is where we stand on that process. And this is where we'll be in the future. This is where we're headed next. Now, if we take the data analysis from the crew level, what we have there then is we can develop our routes, and we can review those on a weekly basis. We can make adjustments as needed directly from the routes. And then we could maximize those routes for efficiency. We could do cost review. Then we could develop our maintenance plan based on the cost review. We could also factor in our facility maintenance costs. Then we could use that to develop a capital plan. But when you take all of these items, you end up with our savings that we could project and can work towards. So this is an active crew dashboard. So we collect data on a daily basis through our work order system, and then we're able to analyze what the actual work is being completed. Then the crew itself can look at this on a daily factor, and we actually put these out on screens inside the Public Works campus, and then the supervisor can review these on a weekly basis too. This is where we establish the goals. So we take all the data, and then we start to establish the goals, and then we can move those goals as needed. You'll see here, this is done in weeks. So each of our parks crews also does some public rounds. So you'll see that we have green bars and blue bars. Blue bars is for the Public Works acreage that they cut and maintain that week. And then the green is the parks acreage that they maintained. The blue line is their goal for how many acres of public grounds they should be cutting in a week, and the green is how many goals or how many acres of parks. So you can see each individual week the work that they're doing. The red line is what is that costing us per acre to actually cut those items. So you can see here, and then so there's always some anomalies, and in this way, when something like this comes up, our supervisor can look into that situation and see where we're at. See what happened that week. Maybe there was something that was different. But generally speaking, we're going to be working towards our goal lines. This does help us then to establish our per acre cost, so we could obviously use these for other budgeting factors in the future. This is another crew. This is Parks East 2, and you can see the same thing here. We've developed goals for them to shoot for. Now, sometimes, like right here, you see that that week is empty. That was when they were off for vacation, or they may have been sick. We could also go back and look and see maybe that officer was out because of sickness, or maybe a child was sick, or something of that nature as well. So we're developing those for every crew that we have in the Parks Division. All right, so the national average for expenditures. Now, how the national average gets determined along with the acres per citizens is NRPA puts out a survey every year, and there's literally hundreds of departments that respond. They respond from all over the country. There are small departments that have one person or two persons, all the way up to major departments like Pittsburgh and Chicago. It's all factored in to provide our averages. So the average expenditure by agency for per acre is $81.06. That's per acre. The parks budget last year was $2,650,000. Now, this is where we have to go and break this up just a little bit, and then we'll come back to an overall average. So we have active acres and we have passive acres. So active would be a facility like Tyus Park, Fairmont, City Park, and then your passive is going to be a facility like Dundee Lake, the dog park, Green Valley Park. So it's stuff, parks that don't have as much activity and don't have as much major facilities. So we start.
Where do you put Quarry's Edge?
Excuse me?
Where do you put Quarry's Edge?
That'd be passive.
Passive.
Yes, sir. So what we do then is that we break them up into two categories. So if I was to take just the active areas, divide that into our overall budget, we'd be at $7,100 per acre. So that would be $900 below the average if we were looking at just active. On passive, if I would do the same thing, we'd be at $6,300 an acre, which is actually $1,700 below the average. Now, what we do is we go ahead and split the difference, and we combine everything, go ahead and divide that amongst our budget, and we're at $3,369 per acre. That's $4,700 below the national average.
Wow.
So what does that mean? That means if you like what you see, if you like the quality of our parks, if you're getting the type of service that you expect from a park system, we're knocking it out of the park. We're providing that service for $4,700 less per acre of anybody else in the country. So this is based on the FY24. Now, what's good about this is now that we have a per acre price, when we're looking at M&O for future facilities, when we're looking at expanding, or even if we're looking to tie that into contracting or something of that nature, we have a base amount per acre to use. So that'll give us it's a good starting place. It's not all the main factors, but it is the main factor. Now, that, of course, does not include, major facilities like our rec centers, aquatic center, large buildings. This is just a general per acre average throughout the whole system, taking the system as one big pie.
But that doesn't count for the cost of those things.
They are in the 2.6 million as far as the maintenance side. Yes, sir. They're in there.
Wow, that makes it even more.
Now, the programming side would be leisure services, but the maintenance side is in the 2.6.
Wow.
Yes. All right, so how do we start our dashboards? Oh, wait. Well, I'm one ahead of myself. So if we take the 2.6 million and we use the factors and the math we just used just to give some major examples. So Tyus Park is running us about $550,000 a year to maintain. City Park, about $173,000.
And that's currently as it is with City Park. That's not,
That would be if we were maintaining it at the level that would be expected through the other facilities, yes. Not how we're currently doing it. The dog park's at about 128, and then Parks at Oak, which is a very small facility, you can see that's $12,000. So in general, if you take the math and work it backwards, essentially everything works out to that $3,300 an acre. All right, so in our individual crews, how do we start those dashboards? How do we look at cost? How can we assist you in budgeting and to predict costs? Well, we've developed this actual park cost line items. This is blank. It just shows us different crews that we have pre-built. These includes like their vehicle, inmates, admin costs, maintenance costs for weed eaters, those types of things. We've already pre-built those. Now, admittedly, these are about 8 to 12 months old, but they're going to be fairly accurate. Then we go ahead and then we factor that back out into a particular park. And you can see, like here at Fairmont, we factored in, this is like this 6 up here is like 6 hours a week as far as maintenance. You can see different crews, different supervisors, what we would use there. And then we take a portion of some of the actual budget line items, and that's how we derive our big number down here. Now what I've done is, these are actually totals, but to give you an example of what our actual labor is, and then the value of the inmates. So if you, these two numbers are actually a portion of the bigger number, but it does give you an example of where a lot of our money is spent and then value of our inmates. So this was just 2 examples we did, and we did these to kind of just cross-example to make sure that we were headed in the right direction. So here's your results. If we were to go by the national averages, we would actually need $6.3 million to do the exact same job that we're doing now. What does that mean? That means annually we're saving $3.7 million if we compare us to the average parks division around the country.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That concludes the dashboard. I'm open for questions.
TJ, is this new to you? Not the dashboard, but the dollar savings? Is this a new number to you, or is this just, hey, this is how we've looked at it, worked it, and history has got us into pretty close to the same number?
So we've looked at it in the past because we are familiar with the NRPA. We participate in that survey, so we get results. But have we drilled down to these numbers? Have we started to cross-reference and cross-check? We've just started that in the last 2.5 years.
Way to go, County Manager.
No,
Way to go.
this is all the department heads. They're doing just one fabulous job.
Stay up.
Okay.
Appreciate the site.
Anything else on that?
I have a question. So a lot of people come to me about privatizing as much as we can and whatnot, and I'd love comparing apples to oranges, and this is a big help for that. One thing though is specifically grass cutting, and I see that you have like this, like lawn team and this lawn team. Can we get a specific? I mean, maybe for next time, like this is how much it costs to cut the grass per month at this place, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just that line.
So we could obviously provide that information, but I already have an example for you.
Okay.
This is a real life example. As you know, we bid it out City Park about a year ago. The bids came in.
Okay.
We did.
We did.
Okay, cool.
So when you all took over City Park, at that time, it was anticipated that we would contract it out for a savings. So we did bid it out. We did not include in the bid the building maintenance, the facility maintenance, playground maintenance, playground inspections, utilities, and the bids came in around $23,000 per month. So it would have been $250,000, not including utilities, building maintenance, to contract that same facility out that we're doing for under $200,000.
$23,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Now,
For just cutting the grass and like trimming the hedges.
picking up trash, cleaning the bathrooms. So
Clean the bathrooms as well. Okay.
Right, but not the maintenance of the building. So if a light bulb was to go out, if we had to do HVAC, we have to pay the utilities on the building. That is not included. That wasn't in that contracted price. What What happens is when you start contracting out like entire parks, is there's a lot more to it. It's just not cutting grass once a week. You have to pick up trash every day or every other day. You have to clean the bathrooms every day. You have to have pavilions ready every day. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen that if you're looking to contract it out, it's not as cost affordable, because if you look at like a landscape company, they're going to a site once every 7 to 10 days. Now you have to come somewhere every day, plus Saturday mornings, plus Sunday mornings. A lot of places where they've contracted everything out, what do you do in the middle of the night? What do you do when you get a call from somebody that's having an event and there's human feces on a stage that has to be cleaned up? That would cost $200 with a contractor, where we're able to, utilize our on-call person. So there's a lot of other factors involved in that.
Can I ask
But-
a quick question about, excuse me, to interrupt you. And I know I was talking to you about this, I know some of us have, regarding like the tennis lights and things like,
Mike?
oh, y'all can hear me? Tennis lights, and things like that at City Park. Has there been any type of discussion or where we are with those as far as extending those lights? Now that, well, I know the daylight savings time is now about to change. That'll be good. But as we go into the next season, should I say?
Yes,
about
ma'am.
those
I'll tell you
lights.
where we're at, and then I don't know, the county manager may want to jump in, or I can answer. I think we're going to have the same answer. So.
We are.
Okay. I have those lights turned off. I have turned them off for a very specific purpose. The system was not good.
Okay.
About half the system doesn't operate. The systems are mixed, so it's old metal halides. It's not newer technology. So the issue is it has to be rebuilt irregardless.
Okay.
So even though that some of the system was actually operating, we relate back to a foot candle power. So it's a visibility issue. So if something was to happen, we need to maintain X amount of foot candles on any sports facility. So that's walking, in fact, even your walking trail, your parking lots need to be at about 2 foot candles. So there's an actual standard that you have to look at. So if there's an injury at night and we're below our foot candles, we don't want to be in that position.
Sure.
So we need new lights there. Now, we have talked about that in the budget process, and we're going to bring that and some other issues to you when we open the work program back up. CIE, impact fees, I'll bring that to you in the fall for consideration.
Okay.
That, and there's some other issues both at City Park and throughout the county as well.
Perfect. That'll-
We've also engaged with Griffin Spalding School System for support at the tennis courts. They are using those facilities for practice, and we believe that there is an opportunity for us to move forward with obtaining some funding from them.
Perfect. Thank you. A lot of people will be happy about that. And luckily, timing's good since we've got spring now and summer will be okay, but as the new year moves around.
Any
Thank you,
other
TJ.
questions on that one? All right. TJ Imberger, Director of Public Works and Public Grounds, would like to discuss surplus vehicles and equipment. Director.
Oh, okay. A little bit out of order, but I don't think I got anything on this one. Let me see.
You do?
Oh, I do. Lots of pictures. All right, as you know, about 2.5 years ago, we started a very, very active program of selling our surplus equipment. We need to remember that there's several advantages of this. One, we're obviously storing it. 2, until something's sold, we're actually paying insurance on this equipment and vehicles. And 3, it just doesn't make sense not to sell it. So in the last 2.5 years, we've gained approximately $150,000 in value so far. As you know, you've been very kind to us, and you allow us to put that back into actual purchasing of equipment and vehicles. I will note, we'll see some sheriff's office vehicles and equipment here. Anytime that we sell something with the sheriff's department, Joey works directly with them. Some of these vehicles were purchased with a grant or they were forfeited, so we make sure that they get the funds for those. There's a direct process, so we're not actually taking funds that doesn't belong to us. So we work directly with them. So we're asking here, we have 55 pieces of equipment and vehicles at this time. We do have, we provided you with an Excel spreadsheet and pictures. You're going to get a couple of pictures for each one, and then Joey writes what is wrong with the piece of equipment. So like say, for instance, that piece of equipment up, and that's a Toro reel mower. That's a 1969 or 1971 model. This is how we used to cut the grass at Volunteer Park.
I was born in.
So we're pretty
That's
resourceful.
not that old. That's not that old.
We'll take it to the max. And then, of course, a lot of these vehicles, when you see them hit surplus, they've already circulated through 3 or 4 departments as well. So my request would be to approve these items for surplus, and then I would like to also extend my request for you to respectfully consider that the funds of these sales go back directly into public service equipment and or vehicles.
Okay. And that's a vote that comes tonight.
Yeah, that's a night.
All right.
Okay. All right. Item number 3,
TJ
TJ Imberger, Director of Parks, Public Grounds, and Public Works, would like to discuss the safety concerns currently at Airport Road Park.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what I did here is I'm presenting this in a very specific manner. We're going to see an executive summary. We're going to address the problem with you. We're going to analyze the problem. We're going to give a suggestion of corrective action, and then funding for that corrective action. So in a summary, we had recent accident was reported to us in reference to playground at Airport Road Park. The citizen reported that their young child tripped on the safety surfacing and then struck the play structure with the head. As you can see here, and I'll get to a bigger picture, what you're seeing here is this is the safety surfacing. Where am I at? There we go.
That's at Airport Road.
So the safety surfacing, this is what prevents a serious accident as far as if you fall, as far as a head injury or an arm injury. And the coating, which you'll see here, is that red coating, that's just color, and then what's actually underneath it is the actual material that's measured for the standards. This playground was put in around 2005. You can see that we have continuously patched this playground area. We do the patching in-house. You can't match the colors, so we just go straight to the black. And we've been making repairs accordingly. In addition to that, I know that this isn't part of the injury, but this is your current state of Airport Road Park. This was the second version of the rubber. We did the original one when we did it in '96. We were the first one in the country to do it, and then this is the second version. I believe this was done about 2000. So we're having the same problems here, is that we continue to patch, and essentially in most of these places, they're beyond patching.
And this is current?
This is current.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are they looking like that?
So both the playground and walking trail projects are included in the current CIE Community Work Program Impact Fee Program. So the problem is that the playground needs new surfacing. The playground structure itself needs extensive repairs. It was initially installed in 2006. The walking trail needs resurfacing as well. If we analyze these situations, the popularity of the park, increased maintenance and operation costs. As you know, that park is the only park we have that's essentially open 24 hours. The popularity of the park has created increased deferred maintenance directly affecting budget resources. The playground at this location is possibly the most used in our system. The playground safety rubber impact attenuation remains intact, so that's the layer below the actual coloring. That's the important part of the layer. but the top coat of the coloring of that material is affected by the repairs, and that's what's creating the flaking. The need for age-appropriate play structure will disperse the usage. So currently that play structure is designated a 2 to 12-year-old structure. These are the standards established by CPSI, ASTM, and ADA. If we were to replace that, I would seriously consider actually doing 2 structures so that we could do a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12. That will disperse our children. So essentially it's a top lot and then a middle-aged.
Can I ask a question? I mean,
Yes.
okay, so I've got a group of ladies with our American Businesswomen Association. We're just going to start walking at Airport Road every Wednesday and Saturday. It's like 20 of us are going to be out here. And I'm looking at the pictures. Is it safe to walk out there like that? We're of various ages.
There's
I'm a
lot of
little
people who
nervous
walk
now.
out there.
I'm a little nervous.
When I walk, I just walk like, I just be mindful of the little holes. They're like little potholes. But like, yeah, if you're not watching or if you're talking to somebody next to you, you could easily trip up.
Makes me nervous.
That's a busy place. All
24 hours a
around the
day.
clock, all around the clock.
Rain, sun, snow. You could
2
drive by
o'clock in the
there and,
morning.
excuse me, and somebody's walking.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
there's
just-
somebody eating lunch.
I'm just concerned about the,
There's somebody playing on the playground, or there's somebody out there tossing a frisbee or flying a kite. Yes, it's an extremely popular facility.
so what happens if somebody falls and hurts themselves? I mean, where does the liability fall? On us?
We have signs. that
I don't
say-
think I'm qualified to answer that.
We have signs that say you're using all of our equipment at your own risk.
Does it say it's your own risk?
But at the same time, like, you know, if we're doing something grossing that.
What's the
Good,
question?
a good question. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well, I need to know that.
So, and then an analysis is that major equipment, major facilities like this, that in the future, if we put those on a 5 to 6 year replacement schedule, that's the possibility of something to look into for adoption. So, corrective action. What do we need to do? We need to replace the walking trail with new rubber. That's a cost of $260,000 to $300,000. Research new trail products that have become available since the current installation to provide the best application. Since that was done somewhere, I think it was around 2009, 2010. There are other applications now that we can use. Replace the play structure with consideration for appropriate age groups. Utilize new playground surface techniques and materials. So we've had an evolution of playground safety surfacing. So all of our facilities are ADA compliant, but we do have some very distinct differences on how we do the surfacing. So playgrounds all have transfer stations, and for the playgrounds that we utilize the engineered wood fiber, that is an ADA product that, when compacted appropriately, is considered ADA and is considered access to the transfer station. Then we have other playgrounds which are designed to be more all accessible, and at that time we use a rubber type surface. When rubber came out, it was called PIP, poured in place, and it was a crumb rubber. Then from there they went to a tile. And there's many different tiles. We actually have 2 or 3 different style tiles. As the tile manufacturing process got better, we would try the newest product. What we have found is the PIP with crumb rubber and then the tiles is just not effective. Several years ago, we started using a shredded rubber material, which is a larger piece of rubber. Essentially, like if you take block of cheese and grate it, it's that consistency. And then we use that. We used it at Fairmont, we've used it at Orchard Hill, and we did it at Thomaston Mill Village Park. We've had excellent results with this rubber. It doesn't wear. It doesn't wear as much. We haven't had the major maintenance concerns that we've had with the other products. So we think we got a pretty good product there, and then the technology with the binders has increased tremendously as well. We do need to note that we do have several playgrounds in the system that are the same era as the Airport Road playground. And they are showing similar situations. So that includes TIAS, baseball, the TIAS All Accessible. Actually, I think there's more. The historic city of Sunnyside, I think I'm close. Orchard Hill Top Lot, Orchard Hill 5 to 12 play structure. Ambucks is actually pre all these, and I have Ambucks currently shut down since it's going to be addressed with the neighborhood grant. You'll get an all new facility there. So this is something to note, that we have more than just Airport Road out there. So corrective action funding. We are currently approved for the walking trail in the 2023 impact fee. So that is essentially budget. The money is there to do that. Airport Road Playground, and you've all done that. So that is a very good forward-looking step. You all put that in the CIE a couple of years ago. And then in the last couple of years, you've also added the play structure itself to the CIE. That is scheduled to be 2026, however. We're going to be requesting that the dates are actually accelerated so that we can do the playground at the same time we can do the walking trail project. And then this would allow both projects to be done at the same time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. How long will it take you to do that if you do the walk, like will you close down the park, fix the trails, and is that how that works?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you don't use it for, I guess, a few weeks?
No, a couple days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it won't be that bad. Now, the whole construction's gonna take more than that. You're gonna have several weeks. And I'm also requesting that if you all would consider moving the playground from 2026 to this current time, I could do those together and I could actually get a better price on both of the projects.
Okay, yeah,
Good idea.
very good.
That's that.
So that would be coming out of the CIE, the capital improvement element that we voted in last year. So it would not hit against our general fund budget. And this will be up for consideration this evening for you to move the projects forward if you so desire. But staff does agree that this would be the right thing to do for us. So yes, sir, it would be net neutral or sum zero for
Okay.
us. But it would afford our community to actually be able to use the walking trail over at the Airport Road Park. There would be a little bit of, excuse the mess for a few weeks to get us ready, but back to TJ's point, it should only take a few days, maybe 3 or 4 days to physically lay the material for the walking trail. So
Is there a signage out there? I know that James had mentioned this out there about, not enter at your own risk or something, but, that's to say if you hurt yourself, it's on you.
there is a sign, yes, ma'am.
Okay. There it is. Okay.
Okay. Anything else on that, TJ?
No, sir.
Okay. Item number 4.
Did we just put up a tornado siren there? Didn't I see they were putting something on a pole?
Yeah, I believe the tornado siren went up. Remember, we added 4 additional sirens
All right.
for the county.
Okay, it's there. Okay.
I saw
Item-
them putting up a pole and I went, I think that's one of the tornado sirens.
All right, item number 4, Carl Humphreys, Spalding County Warden, would like to discuss POA-BF agreement.
What's that?
Warden.
Good afternoon.
Good
Afternoon.
afternoon to you, sir.
I was approached a couple of months ago by
Peace
the
Officer
director
Annuity
of the
Benefit
POAB Fund, which is a Peace Officers Annuity Benefit Fund. And basically, they were having difficulty finding companies to maintain and cut the grass around their facility, which is here in Griffin. They had actually signed several contracts with people and they would just not show up. So we asked if inmate labor could be used to maintain the grounds. I've talked with TJ, and he said it would not be a problem. We're talking about probably no more than 2 hours every other week. And I think they do that year round. That when they're not cutting the grass, they put out straw and that kind of thing. So it's a couple hours every 2 weeks, and we would be charging them based on the same fee that he was showing here, $125.86 per hour. And they have agreed to that. This is a state building, so a government building, so it's not private property, and we are allowed to use inmates for that purpose.
Where is this physically?
It's off Greenbelt Drive.
It's across the street, physically across the street from the CSB location.
Okay, okay. Now I understand where it is, okay. All right. Questions for the warden? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I know the folks that work over there. It's
Item number 5, presentation from John Kraus for the development of an assisted living facility on Highway 92 at Cowan Road.
Do we have him on? All right. Mr. Kraus, I believe you're online with us this evening.
Looks like he's connecting to
It
audio.
says connecting to
Yeah,
me.
but the one beside it says,
Oh.
there he is.
There. Can you see us and hear us?
Hi.
Yes,
That was John. And his partner, Bill Brown, is now connecting to audio.
Okay, just give us a second to get the technology on our end correct. Okay,
certainly.
we ready to go? All right, we're ready to go. Thank you. Mr. Kraus, if you'd just go ahead with your presentation.
Sure. Well, I'm John Kraus. I've been involved with this project since we were originally invited to come to town and do it by Pastor Valamont at Griffin First Assembly.
Hold on.
We acquired the property back in, right before the end of 2012. Since then, we've been actively engaged in trying to create a senior housing project there. We originally conceived it to be a complete continuum of care, meaning that we would have independent living, assisted living, and memory care available for folks. The first phase of the project, which is what we're trying to complete now, is memory care and assisted living. There will be approximately 125 units, 71 of assisted living and 46 of memory care. We've worked on the project for quite some time rather diligently and had a great deal of things, impediments, I guess, that kind of got in our way. Not most recently, but probably not too long ago, we were getting our plans approved by you folks there at the county, and we had originally planned to do a detention basin in between. There's a gully with a drainage ditch in between our property and the school district to the north. We were originally planning, in cooperation with the school district, originally planning to go in there and build a nice detention basin, landscape it, put a walking trail around and stock it with fish, kind of make it be a little bit of an amenity, if you will. One of your employees didn't like that idea, and so we were forced to change our plan to allow for a quarter of a mile of 6-foot in diameter corrugated steel drainage pipes to be installed under the project to handle the stormwater runoff. Next, we got that under control and we're moving forward with that. We're able to accommodate the additional expense. And at that point in time, then the city decided, who had previously agreed to provide us with sewage treatment, city decided they had to put a moratorium on the sewage on the west side of town there that was feeding into the Shoal Creek plant. And the next thing I think that happened, we went out and we were looking for a suitable tract of land to put on a self-contained, I guess it's almost like just a large septic system that would have handled the project. And that would have been a tremendous additional expense to do that. But we were working in that direction, and then the next thing happened was that Brent Keller retired at the city, and Brandon Lewis took over, and Brandon came back and said he figured out a way that we could be accommodated in the sewage plant over there. So that's the direction we're now trying to go. In the meantime, while we had had these ongoing issues, we acquired and lost financing a couple times. One time we had a big New York firm that wanted to finance the project down to visit, and it was, they were hosted there by Randy Valmont, Griffin First, and then it was only 2 weeks later that Pastor Valmont died. And so that knocked that financing out of the box. Most recently, we're working on some new markets tax credits. We have obtained a $25 million USDA loan, which is ready to fund. And we need another additional $5 million to complete the project. That money is, we're not looking to issue new markets or obtain new markets tax credits in the amount of about $8 million, which will effectively give us $5 million for the project to use. And one of the requirements of the new markets tax credits, folks, is there needs to be substantial benefits to the community at large. So we've been scouting around and talking to folks and influential folks in the community and getting letters of support from them. We've gotten one from Southern Crest Technical College, which we're looking to work on an apprenticeship deal with them. We've also gotten one from Ministries. We've gotten one from support letter from Griffin First Assembly. We've gotten one from
Rock Springs.
Dr. Lacey at Mount Zion Church. And we've gotten several others, and I don't want to take your time and just list them all, but we've gotten several others. And we were interested in trying to get one from the county that would indicate that they had, that there was a big need for this kind of a project in the community, and that they were fully supportive of it. And that's what we're asking for now. We're just completing a package of information that the new markets tax credits people need, and if we could add in there a letter from you folks, that would be just wonderful. That, I guess, is sort of the end of my canned presentation here, and I'll entertain any questions you might have.
Does the board have any questions at this time?
Is this development affiliated with First Assembly, any at all? Is this for just y'all? Because I know you mentioned that Pastor Valmont was involved at one point, and that's what I was led to believe over the past few years by several people, that it was kind of involved with the First Assembly. But from my understanding now, it's not.
There's never been any legal or financial involvement of First Assembly. The only way we got involved with them was Pastor Valmont invited us to come to town to do the project.
Gotcha.
And that was our only involvement. When we came to town, we needed a place to meet with people and talk to folks and stuff, and a lot of that happened over at the church property since it was directly across the street. First Assembly was they were very gracious in allowing us to come in and have meetings and things there. There was no legal or financial involvement on their behalf. And it was not intended to be, and it's still not intended to be, solely for the members of their church.
Okay.
This is supposed to be an ecumenical project. It's for the community. We've spoken to all of the pastors in town, almost all of them, and they've all been very supportive. They, more so than most folks, might be a little more attuned to the need in the community because they are the folks that visit people in nursing homes and those kinds of things. So they're, very, very supportive because they have seen how great the need is in the community. From the market research that we've done, there's a tremendous, tremendous need for assisted living and memory care in the greater Griffin area. Any of you've dealt with this, have dealt with the situation where you've had to place a parent or loved one or someone who's elderly. If you had to find a place for them to live or to be cared for, you'll see how much difficulty there is in finding that convenient to Griffin there.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying that for me.
All right, any other questions?
Hey, John, did you speak about the new markets tax credits?
I mentioned it, but I didn't speak about it, Bill, as much as you could probably, so it probably wouldn't hurt to,
Yeah, maybe I'll just chime in a little bit on that. The key to one of the keys to the new markets tax credits is.
Bill, would you mind introducing yourself to the group first?
Are you getting an echo?
No, we just didn't, if you'd introduce yourself, we didn't know you were on. I didn't know you were
Oh,
on.
this is Bill Brown. I'm John's partner. Right.
Okay,
For some reason, I'm getting a little feedback. So I'll try to speak in chunks, maybe not full sentences. So, one of the keys to the getting new market tax credits equity is development. Is that the community development entities want to see that there's some benefit to the community. And we have a bunch. John, it's better if you explain what we're doing with the vets and with the food distribution and with the Southern Crescent. And so we have in an area that is considered severely depressed, and that's very good in order to get new market tax credit. And so any kind of support letters from the community, particularly from your group, could be very powerful. It would be very powerful and very helpful. That's it for me. I apologize that this is had a speak over.
okay, we understand.
Guys, this is Commissioner James Dutton. My question is, do you operate or own any other facilities like this, or do you have a monetary interest or partnership in any facility like this, whether it's a memory facility or just a rest home or a rehab or anything like that?
John has, and our general contractor has.
What facility?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
What do you have an interest, a partnership, a pecuniary interest in any facility like this anywhere else? Any memory facility, rest home, retirement center, anything of this nature in general? And if so, where? What are their names?
Don't. This is the first one of our that we're doing, and this came about, as I said, because we were invited by Pastor Valmont to do it.
I think this is what we're doing together, but John has done other ones, as has our general contractor and management company.
The general contractor's done 3 or 4 of these for his own account and several for other customers. I've worked previously with a senior housing developer and completed 4 of these projects, that are similar size.
Can you tell us where they are and what
There.
their names are?
And we've gotten, we're fortunate to obtain the services of a management company that's one of the foremost ones in the country to operate the day-to-day business for us.
What's the name of the management company?
Integral Senior Living.
Integral
Located
Senior
in
Living?
Carlsbad, California.
Carlsbad, California?
And they operate a similar project in Buckhead.
Integral Senior Living?
Yeah,
Integral Senior
that's
Living.
they're in Buckhead, and they also operate one in Fayetteville. Plus, they have about 60, 80 different properties.
And they're going to manage this one?
Yes.
What's the name of their facility in Fayetteville?
It'd be easy enough to check, but there aren't that many.
Do you not know, or?
Not offhand.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. Thank you, John and Bill. We appreciate it. We'll look at it again tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Can I ask
adjourn.
Steve a question first, but we can kind of, I want to ask about the letter of support. Is this something that the staff supports, that we do a letter of support?
So the letter that was presented for support was very generic.
Okay.
And we don't have anything to go on other than Mr. Kraus is looking to bring an assisted living and a memory center into the community at the location presented 92 in Cowan Road. So at this point, I'm not sure we're in a position to offer support or non-support of the facility. I know that the facility has been going on for, or the request for the facility has been going on for years.
More than 10.
Yeah, more than 10.
More than 10.
I think you've been
So the staff doesn't
around
really
for
have
a
have
while.
a say at this point. You don't know yet.
Don't know.
Okay, so this one we may want to table, maybe?
I think they're looking for a letter of support for the tax credits so that they can move forward with obtaining funding through a grant or a low-interest loan to continue the process for the development. I believe Ms. Stephanie's intimately involved.
My understanding is that the letter of support is really just to say that a memory care facility and a facility of this type is needed in the community. And that's for the new market tax credit purposes. It's just really to say that you support this type of development, not necessarily this development, since you don't have any further information regarding this development.
So this coincides all with our zoning and all that kind of stuff, where we can do this.
Oh, yes, they've
Okay.
been through multiple
All right.
rounds
Okay.
of
So make sure
approvals
we can-
and.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. 4-0, we're adjourned. Thank you. Next meeting's at 6 o'clock.
Hartis?
What's it called?
Hartis?
Artist.
Mics, please.